What we have here, guys, is let k of x is a function. K minus 1 equals minus 6. Find the value of b. Now, lads, please remember, this is the input. Whichever number comes in the brackets beside k is the input. So what we got to do is we got to replace anywhere we see an x, we got to replace it with what? We got to replace it with a minus 1. Does everybody get that? If I had k3, I'd have to replace all the x's with 3's. Okay? So what's going to happen here is it says find k of minus 1. So k of minus 1 is the same thing as minus 1 squared minus 3 times minus 1 plus b. Now what's the answer to this question once you put in minus 1? The answer is minus 6. Multiply out minus 1 squared and what do we get? 1. Minus 3 times 1? 3. Plus b equals minus 6. 3 plus 1? 3 plus 1, anybody?
4.
Pay attention, lads. 4 plus b equals minus 6, and therefore b is going to be equal to minus 10. Okay? And that is your first question done. Quite easy. Now, every question they're going to use a different letter, and they're also going to use a different function. Okay? Sorry? Now, the next function is f of x. F of x is the function a times x squared plus 3 times x. It's basically the same thing as a times whatever your input is squared, 3 times whatever your input is. Okay? What does this piece of information tell us about our input? What's the input? The input is? What's the answer once we use that input? Minus 1. So this minus 1 goes here. This minus 1, which is underlined in green, that one goes in here. And what you get? What's minus 1 squared? 1. 1 times a? 1a. 3 times minus 1? Minus 3 equals 1. Bring over the minus 3. A equals 3 plus 1, which is 4. Okay, so that's question 4 and 5. Any questions? Paddy? Sorry guys, it's meant to be minus 1. So when I brought it over, it's minus 1 plus 3, which gives me 2. Good spot, Paddy. The output was minus 1, not plus 1. Yeah, good spot. Okay, everybody happy enough for that? Yeah. Right, let's move it up a bit harder. You're looking at 9 and 10 now. Now 9 and 10. Once again, f of x equals 5x cubed. So f of your input equals 5 times whatever your input is cubed plus your input squared, just down, plus a times your input plus 8. It says your input equals minus 1. And once you use that minus 1, your answer is going to be? So your answer is 16 when you put in the input of minus 1. So you replace all the x's with minus 1s. Now what happens? What's minus 1 cubed? Minus 1. Multiply by 5? You can put everything but the a in the calculator. So you can put everything but this part here in the calculator. So you're basically putting this part, and this part into the calculator. You're leaving the 16 where it is. Okay? And what you're going to get is minus 5 plus 1 is minus 4. Minus 4 plus 8 is 4. So you're going to get 4 minus a equals 16. Now how do you find out what a is? Bring 4 over to your side. 16 minus 4. Minus a equals 12. Multiply both sides by minus. A equals minus 12. Okay, that's the first one. Now, this one here, slightly more difficult. Question 10. Now, with question 10, what we're doing is we're saying f0 equals 7. So the function is f of your input equals your input cubed plus a times your input squared. Sorry. A times your input squared minus 4 times your input plus B equals whatever your output is. What's the input for the first part? 0, 0, 0, 0. What's the output? 7. Have a look at that, and we're going to get 0, 0, 4 times 0, 0, and you're going to get B equals 7. Alright with that? B equals 7. Now, we go back to this equation. We rub out our B, and what we're going to replace B with? B is 7. Then we're going to rub out our inputs, because we're going to do part 2 now. So you're just going to do the same thing again. So what does it want us to do this time? 3 cubed, 3 squared, 3, 7, then it equals minus 5. So 3 cubed, 27. 3 squared, 9a. 4 times 3, 12 plus 7 equals minus 5. The 9a stays where it is. You can put this part in the calculator. 27 minus 12 plus 7. You're going to get 22. What happens to the 22? Over. And then what happens when you add minus 5 and minus 22 together? 9a equals minus. And the a will therefore equal minus 3. And that's your lot done. Okay? Just pause it there. So we have question 7. Now, question 7 has a function g. And what I want you to do is g of whatever's beside the g, it wants you to have a squared, then it wants you to multiply whatever is beside the g squared, then it wants you to take away 7a, multiply by whatever is beside the g, and then it wants you to add on a 6. Oh yeah, g equals 6, okay. Now, what then comes across says g of 2 equals minus 6. So we can say g2 is here. We can say that a is 2 squared, 7a times 2 plus 6 equals. Now, you're going to multiply this out. 2 squared is 4. 4a squared. 7a times 2 minus 14a. David, I think it was actually meant to be plus 12 and not 0 that time. I think I just took the wrong answer of somebody there. So it's going to be plus 6, and then when the other 6 comes over, plus 6 as well. Plus 12. Now, you're looking at all these numbers, and what can they all be divided by? 2. 2a squared minus 7a plus 6. Your options are as follows. Your option is the minus b formula, where you say a equals 1. Where do we get a equals 2. Where do we get a equals 2 from? The number that comes in front of the a squared, or the number that usually comes in front of the x squared. Where does the b come from? B is minus 7 and c 6. Now that's if you guys are going to use the minus b formula. Some of you will prefer to go to the minus b formula. Anybody remember doing the minus b formula? Okay, if you haven't, it'll be something you need to look over before the end of the year. The other way is what I taught you is called the reference number. How do you get the reference number? Does anybody remember? Multiply 2 by 6 and you get 12. Now Mick, what do you have to do with the reference number of 12? Do you remember? Yeah, make up two numbers that will multiply to give you 12, but when you add them they'll give you minus 7. Minus 6 minus 2 will give you minus 8, so you're one away. Try different two numbers. Minus 4 minus 3. So you split up your 7a into minus 3a minus 4a plus 6 equals 0. Is that right? Now Dennis, what you do next? What can you take out of the first two?
Numbers.
Not the numbers. The letter A.
Yeah.
And what happens when you take out A? A multiplied by what gives you 2a squared? A multiplied by what gives you 2a squared? Anybody? 2a. A multiplied by what gives you minus 3a? Minus 3. Second bracket always has to be the same as the first. What number will go in here to multiply 2a, make you looking, by the way, multiplied by 2a to give you minus 4a? Well, minus 2. Then what's our answer going to be? Yeah. And then to finish that off, how'd you finish it off? It's a solved question. So a minus 2 equals 0. 2a minus 3 equals 0. Bring over the 2, and what do we have? And then bring over the 3. 2a equals 3, and a equals 3 over 2. Okay, tough question that one. Okay, very tough question. Now, question 8. Any ideas how to start off question 8, Conor Moore? How would you start off question 8?
X squared plus ax plus b.
Okay, write that down, fair enough. I'm going to leave the x's blank for a minute, okay? Just not going to put anything in for the x's. So, to start off question 8, we have a function f of x, so I'm just going to say f of blank equals whatever your input is squared, a multiplied by your input plus b. Does everybody get what I'm doing there? Just rewriting the original formula, but I don't use x anymore, I just use a space. Okay? Now, what does it want me to do with f, this one? Put 2 into it. And then it also wants me to do 1 with minus 4. Now, what happens next? You multiply them out, and what happens to the first one? It goes into 4 plus 2a plus b. It's alright, that's all you can do, isn't it? Just wait a second. There's no equal sign. What about the next one? 16 minus 4 squared, 16 minus 4a plus b. Now it says the two of these are equal to each other. So what it's telling me is that 4 plus 2a plus b equals 16 minus 4a plus b. What can we say about the plus b's? They cancel. Because they're on both sides, they're going to cancel. And then what? Then the a's go to the same side, and the numbers go to your side. So I'm bringing the 4a over to the same side as the 2a. So what does that mean? The minus 4a turns into a plus 4a. The 2a is still there. See the 4 on this side, where's that going to go? Over to your side. And when it goes over to your side, it's going to be 16 minus 4. 6a equals 12. A equals 2. Paddy, you can go to the toilet. I'm just going to finish up B before you go. Okay? He has it done already. B. It says, if f of minus 5 is 12, find the value of B. So we go back to the top. Now, we once again use our f of x expression. So what did we say A was again? A is 2. Okay? So A is 2. What does our full equation change into? F of x equals x squared. What's a going to be now? 2. And what's b? We don't know yet. Now what do we know about this part here? What does it want us to do with the x's? Replace them with what? Replace with minus 5. And then once you replace it with minus 5, what happens next? Sorry? Equals your 12. Minus 5 squared? 25. 2 times minus 5? Plus b equals 12. 15, 25 minus 10? 15 plus b equals 12. What happens to the 15? Anybody know what happens to 15? Bring it over. B equals 12 minus 15. And what's b equal to then? Minus 3. You go to the toilet for a minute. Number 11. You have f2 equals 7 and g1 equals minus 1. David, what do you do with f2? How do you find out what f2 is? Oh. You replace x with? See, f of x is 2x plus a. So what I want you to do with f2 is you replace x with 2. Okay? And this will equal 7. 2 times 2? 4 plus a equals 7. What's your a value? A value is going to be 3. Then it asks you in the next part of the question, it goes, g1 equals minus 1. What's the rule for g, Sean? What do you need to do for g?
You need to replace x with 1.
Yeah, 3 times your input plus b, and you're right. It's going to be 3 times 1 plus b equals minus 1. 3 times 1?
3.
3 plus b equals minus 1. b equals, bringing over the 3.
B equals 2.
Minus 1 minus 3.
Sorry, minus 4.
b equals minus 4. How do you imagine that one? Difficult or?
Fine.
Okay. This one. Number 14. What does AB element Z mean? What does Z mean? Z means integers. It means numbers that are minus whole numbers and plus whole numbers. If I said 1,000, 1,000 is an integer. If I said minus a half is not an integer because it's a fraction. You can have no fractions and no decimals the minute you see element Z. Means you're not allowed any fractions or decimals. Doesn't really affect how you do the question though.
So there won't be any decimals or fractions in the answer.
When you get the answer for A and B, they can't be a fraction and they can't be a decimal. Okay? Now, what you're going to see is, it's going to say, alright, why don't you, it says hx is 2 times x minus a. Then it says kx is a times x plus b. Find the values of a and the values of b. So what does it tell us to do with the h function? See it here? What does it want us to do? What's beside the h? 3. What was beside the h? X. Replace x with 3. 2 times 3 minus a. And what does it say the answer is? What does it say the answer is? The answer is 1. 6 minus a equals 1. Bring the over to your side. 1 minus 6. A is therefore going to, minus a equals minus 5. A will equal, anybody? 5. It's the same question. This means that the a in both equations has to be the same value.
Is it good if you leave it as a positive rather than leaving it at minus 8 because minus 5?
No, you have to. Okay, you have to multiply by both sides minus 1 to get you to 5. Now, replace a with what, guys? A is now the number 5. And it says k of 5 equals a. So what does k of 5 mean, Mick? Any idea?
That you just replace
X with 5. 5 times 5 plus b equals what? What does it equal? 8. 25 plus b equals 8. So what do we do with 25? 25, b equals 8 minus 25. B therefore equals, anybody? 17. Now, if you look at this question, it's going to be 2x. Okay. I'm going to rewrite both equations. Do you see the way I know what a is and do you see the way I know what b is? It means I can rewrite both equations to look like this. hx equals 2x minus a. A was 5, wasn't it? Kx equals, anybody? Kx equals 5x because it's ax. And what's the b value? Minus 17. So, do you see this here? These things here are my two functions without any letters in them because I found out what the letters represent. Now, once I do this, does anybody in the class have an idea how to do part 2? Take it, even if you're in a test, take a wild guess. let's assume you haven't got a clue what to do, and I expect that's quite common with half the class right now. What's the only thing you can replace hx with?
Its equation.
You can only replace it with its equation. So even if you just don't leave it blank, just do that first step. Replace it with its equation and you get this. And then replace kx with its equation, you get this here. Now any idea what to do after that? What do you always do with x's?
Bring the x's to one side.
You always bring the x's to one side and the numbers to the other side. So we get 2x minus 3x squared and equal to minus 17 plus, anybody? 5.
Is it not 2x minus 5x?
Oh, it is 2x minus 5x, you're right. Now, once you've done that, what's next? 2x minus 5x is? Minus 3x. Minus 17 plus 5? Minus 12. Now, does anybody remember? Anybody in the class remember what happens when you multiply an inequality both sides by minus 1? Both of them become a plus, but what else? Now, why does the sign change is what I'll always ask you. Write down a really easy inequality. 4 is bigger than 3. No problem, everybody knows that. Multiply both sides by minus 1. Which number is bigger, minus 4 or minus 3? Minus 3 is the bigger number. Therefore, minus 4 is a smaller number than minus 3. See the way your sign switched around when you multiply by minus 1? It's the same thing here. Multiply both sides by minus 1. And you get 3x is smaller than 12. Divide by it. And you get x is smaller than 4. Try this one out. G equals px squared plus pq. So gx is equal to this here. Now, guys, you're in an exam. You find this tough. You just want to get marks on the board here. Any idea how you get marks on the board from looking at this? Yeah. So how do you fill in G1? G1 even. X is 1. Oh, the first one, G1, okay? Yeah, you're right, but the next part, X would be minus 1 for the part after that. So, P times 1 squared, you've already picked up marks for just doing that. Okay? Even though it's extremely difficult. And what does it equal? What equals 4. Now, just try it out again. Use your calculator. 1 squared is 1. P times 1, P. Q times 1, Q. Bring the 3 over to your side. 4 plus 3? 7. 2 letters, 1 equation. What does that usually mean? Simultaneous equation. Remember we used to have these ones. X plus y equals 5. 2x minus y equals 3. And we've used them against each other to find out what x and y are. It's looking likely, anytime you have 2 letters and only 1 equation, it usually means you're going to need 2 equations. If you have 1 letter, you can 1 equation is enough. 2 letters, you need 2 equations. Okay? So let's look at the next part then. Once again, you've picked up lots of marks for that. Now what about g of minus 1? What do you do with g of minus 1? P times minus 1 squared plus q times minus 1 minus 3 equals, anybody? Minus 6. Now what do you do next? P times minus 1 squared? Anybody? Nearly. It's going to be p multiplied by 1, because minus 1 squared is 1. So p, q times minus 1. And then bring the minus 3 over to your side. It becomes plus 3. Minus 6 plus 3. Minus 3. Now, you have 2 equations. Okay? And the next part of the question says, calculate the value of p and the value of q. Okay? Value of p and the value of q. So what's asking you to do for this is, it's saying, use both equations against each other. Now what did we say about simultaneous equations, lads? What's the whole basis of simultaneous equations? You need to get rid of 1 letter. Now for those who don't understand why simultaneous equation worked, pick any 2 numbers you know. Like let's say for example, 7 minus 2 equals 5. Is that a balanced equation? Both sides equal each other, don't they?
Oh, yes.
Now, think of another equation. Just make one up. 8 plus 1 equals 9. Everybody know that?
Yeah.
Now, when you combine both equations together, what happens is they'll always balance. So, example, add 8 plus 7 together, 15. What's minus 2 plus 1? Minus 1. What's 9 plus 5? 14. Is 15 minus 1 the same as 14? So do you see the way you can put two equations beside each other and just add them downwards and they'll keep balancing for you? Okay? You can even go a step further. See my first equation. Pick any number you want between 2 and 5. Pick me a number. 3. Multiply the top equation by 3. What happens? 21 minus 6 equals 15. Does that equation still balance? Pick a number for the bottom equation. Any number between 1 and 10. 7. 7 times 8, Nick? 7 times 8? 7 times 1? 7 times 9? And what you notice, does it still balance? So that's how simultaneous equations work. If you multiply both sides by the same number, they balance. If you add the two equations together, they balance. So Dennis, the point of me reminding you of why simultaneous equations work is this. You have two different equations. Just add them downwards. And hopefully, if the letters don't cancel, make sure that you multiply by a number so that the letters do cancel. So what's p plus p? Anyway, p plus p? 2p. Minus q plus q? Nothing. Minus 3 plus 7? Plus 4. P is equal to 2. Now, if p equals 2, okay, we have to find out what q is. P plus q equals 7. 2 plus q equals 7. Q equals?
7 minus 2.
Which is 5. Now, P is 2, Q is 5. Okay, you go back to the top. This becomes 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. Does everybody understand what I did with that equation?
Yeah.
I replaced the P value with 2, the Q value with 5. Now, can anybody tell me what type of equation are we looking at there? Anybody know what type of equation that is? Type 1 or type 2? Type 2. So you would have had a list in your book at the start of the year that gave you all the different types. Don't know if you still have it or not. Sean, you still have it in your front paper page, don't you? Dylan, it might be worth you getting that page and taking that down off him eventually, okay? Taking a picture of it. You weren't in for that. Alright, to do a quadratic equation, Mick, any idea what you do first?
What?
Any idea how to do a quadratic equation?
Suppose you bring 2x over.
Not over. Multiply the 2 by the 3. So the 2 by the minus 3 is minus 6. It's a reference number question.
Oh, right,
Two numbers that will multiply. See the way it's a minus reference number? It means it's one is minus and the other one is plus. One is minus, the other one's plus. So what two numbers will multiply together to give you 6? 2 and 3. Now here's the problem with 2 and 3. They both have to be. So I'll just no, you're right, but I had to explain why 2 and 3 are wrong. You could do plus 2 plus 3 and you get plus 5. That's okay. But the problem is when you multiply them, they don't give you minus 6. They give you plus 6. Therefore, it's the wrong choice. Go again with 5 and 1. Or sorry, 6 and 1, isn't it? Now, 6 multiplied by 1 is 6, not minus 6. So one of them has to be minus.
Minus 6 plus 1.
Now, if you did minus 6 plus 1, what is minus 6 plus 1?
5.
It's minus 5.
Oh, yeah.
So you want a plus 5.
Minus 1 plus 6.
So you're going to go 6 minus 1 instead. Change it. 2x squared plus 6x minus 1x minus 3. What do you take out, lads? Any ideas, Connor? What can you take out of the two of these? And any number that will go out of the two of them? What's left over? X and 3. What's always guaranteed about a reference number question? And then what number will go in here to multiply the x to give you minus 1? Now 1 multiplied by x is plus 1x.
Oh, yeah, minus x.
Yeah. Now you can check it out. 2x by x, 2x squared. 2x by 3, 6x. Minus 1 by x, minus 1x, minus 1 by 3, minus 3. 2x minus 1, x plus 3 equals 0. How'd you finish this off, Dennis?
The same as, wait, what?
How'd you finish it off?
2 times 2, yeah, 2x times x.
You're multiplying it back out. You have to solve it. 2x equals 1, x equals a half, x equals minus 3. Okay.